Good afternoon, guys and girls. Black Mamba Biker here. How are you all doing today? Today's vlog is going to be about bikes and what bikes I've owned over the last 7 years and what bikes I would like to own next. So, as I've said, I've been riding about 7 years now. 3 of those were on a CBT license, and I rode those on a Suzuki GZ125HS, which is a great starting bike. I loved it. I rode it to death. I put around 40,000 miles on it in 3 years, I think. And it was just an excellent little bike. It had a really low centre of gravity. It had fantastic little crash bars on it at the front and rear, and little panniers as well. And I felt absolutely hard as nails on it. It was fantastic. And I got my leather tasseled jacket that went alongside that. You'd have loved it, guys. You'd have loved it. I wish you were there. And that thing was great. And then once I passed my full test, I was looking for something a bit bigger than a 125. And I thought, I'll get a CB500 Honda, because that's what I did my test on, and I thought I'll know it quite well, and it'll just fit the job nicely. And then when I was looking at them and sitting on them, they felt a bit small, and I felt a bit like a giant ape sat on a teeny little bike because I'm 6 foot tall. And I went for an ER500 instead in silver. Now this bike was an absolute Bobby Dazzler. I cannot fault this bike, apart from the fact that I set it on fire, and we'll get to that in a minute. And this bike, I probably put 70,000 miles on it. I took my first big tours up to Blackpool and Cumbria and lower parts of Wales as such. And it was just a wonderful, 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 wonderful bike. And I regret getting rid of it. I'd love to still have it as a bit of a hack to play with. And what happened with it getting set on fire is the fact that my friend had a GZ125 in black. Not the same one that I had, because mine was destroyed by the time I'd finished with it. No one would have wanted to own it. And he'd left it for a couple of months, and it had lost charge in the battery. So I took my bike down, and I went down, I said, I'll go bump start it for you, pardon me. And I went down to go and bump start it, and wouldn't bump start. It was sparking, but just for some reason it wouldn't go. So I got my jumper cables out, and I don't recommend this because, well, you'll hear why. And I connected my bike to his bike, black to black, red to red, as you do. Turned his ignition on, turned my ignition on, started my bike, which then arced off the positive terminal straight onto my frame and burnt out one of my cylinders. So the entire earth cable for the left-hand cylinder of a 2-cylinder bike was destroyed, and it had melted it all the way through the loom. And just that one cable though, which wasn't too bad. So I had to ride back home on that bike, still smouldering, after I managed to put the small fire out, and go home and start faffing about the cables. And I managed to strip everything back from inside the little wiring loom. And I feel really bad for the person that got this bike, because the internals were all actually put together with chock blocks, those little screw terminal boxes, and 2.5mm solid copper core cable. And it worked. I managed to retrace the earth all the way back through to the cylinder, reconnect it back to the battery where it connected, and replaced a couple of other bits that had burnt out in the middle, and just got it all reconnected, and everything worked. And I kept it for about 6 more months, and then I had to sell it because I hated the idea that I was riding a bike that I'd set fire to. And there was some great scoring underneath the seat where the flames had hit and just wicked up around underneath the seat. The good news is, it did actually start my friend's bike, so my friend's bike was started, and it did save his battery. Now the next bike I got was this filthy beast, which is a DL650 V-Strum V-Twin, and it's an absolutely beautiful bike. It is by far my favourite bike I've owned so far. It is just nimble, it's agile, it's absolutely fantastic. I couldn't complain about it, apart from the original tyres that came with it were called Michelin Trail Wings, and I renamed them, and they've been renamed in on the forums that I'm part of for V-Strums to Death Wings, because they're just slippy as hell in the rain. So that was the main thing that I had to change with it. But I've owned this bike now for almost 4 years, and I've clocked up around 70,000 miles on this one so far, and she's a hell of a bike. You know, I really can't complain about her. She's got a lovely upright seating position, my arms are nice and relaxed in the handlebars. I've put on an extended screen, I've got some Anarchy free tyres on it now, which they grip to anything and they just push water out your way. I've put these little Acebus handlebar guards which have got LED strip lighting on for when I'm white lining and filtering so people can see my bike still. She's just beautiful. She's had her problems. I've had a clutch fail on her. I've gone through more rear and front brake pads than anyone else in the world. Probably about 12 sets by now, which is ridiculous. So I think there's probably something up with the calipers that I may need to address a little more. And that's 12 between the front and the rear, not just 12 rears or 12 fronts. And yeah, I'm very happy with this bike so far. And I'm not very happy with this person here, so... There we go. Past them now. So yes, very happy with this bike so far. Now I bought this bike on finance and it finishes in August this year. It cost me a lot of money. It's probably worth about nothing now, as she's been ridden through every single weather you can imagine. It's been over sheet ice, it's been through flood water, she's been through fords, muddy fields, she's been through green lanes. She's been ridden in the summer occasionally when the sun's shining. We've had hail, snow, and every single time she's kept me safe. She's a good girl. So she won't be going anywhere once the finance has been paid off. But what I may be doing is buying a second bike. Now this one's going to become my winter hack, off-roading, green laning, heavy duty bike, and I've not got a clue what I want to get next. I was thinking of a DRZ 400 for doing a bit of off-roading properly, you know, doing maybe some jumps or some ramps, or you know, just playing about, something that's a proper toy bike, not a commuter, something that I don't need to, if it gets damaged I can just spend some time repairing it and not need to worry too much. So that's what I want next, and I was thinking a DRZ 400, or if I don't go down the off-road route I might get myself a Super Sports or a Sports Tourer. I was looking at the VFR 1200s, is it? And they look really, really, really nice. Just something that I can get out in the sunny weather and just, you know, have a good blat on the roads. So that's another option. I was looking at the Triumph Tigers and the BMW GSs, but I decided that actually this little V-Strom Adventure Tourer is already an Adventure Tourer. So I don't need anything like a Triumph or a GS. This one does me absolutely fine, and I love her. And I don't want to sit there comparing her to the GS or a Triumph Tiger, so I shan't be going down that route, I don't think. But yeah, let me know what bikes you guys have had and how long you've been riding them and what you think, and what bike you think I should get next. You know, I'm looking for a toy. This one's my work machine. This is the one that's going to do the miles and the bad weather and get the hell kicked out of it. I'm looking for something that's going to do, you know, sunny weather miles or get beaten up off road, and something that, you know, I don't need to care about getting damaged if it does get damaged, or something that, you know, I can have as a purely beautiful toy. So let me know what you think in the comments, and I'm going to nail this one on the head, and I shall see you guys soon. This is Black Mamba signing out. Have a good one, guys. Cheers.